Okay, I'm so glad to be with a part of the core team today. Of course, we're missing Gabby Plumet, who is one of our favorite people on the planet. But today's a really special day, and it's the day where we make a big announcement. And that announcement is that Leath HR Group is going to be run by none other than my husband, Andy Almeter. He's going to take over as the new president as I transition out as founder. And I'm going to let Andy introduce himself here in a minute. But first, before I do that, and I definitely want to have some conversations so that our clients and people who are interested in Leath HR Group can kind of understand some of the changes and why it is exciting for the team and also for our clients. But I want to just start by saying that I was listening to another podcast, not our podcast. I've listened to all our episodes, but I was listening to a podcast by Gartner called Talent Angle, and there was a guy on there who was like the VP of product from Groupon back in the day. A really smart dude, Sunil Gupta, and he was talking about this concept of conviction. And I was like, conviction, what does that mean to me? Well, then he explained to me what it actually meant. So what he was saying was, conviction is so interesting as a leader. A lot of people think that leaders need to be very gregarious and speech givers and like outgoing, center of attention. But he was saying how over his years as like a really successful business leader for big companies, he found that the most successful leaders were people with conviction. And that meant before they went and tried to like sell a product or sell a service to anybody, they believed in it themselves, and they had convinced themselves before they try to convince anybody else that this is the right thing. And so as I thought about that and I reflected back on the first 5 years of Leath HR Group, where I started this company from absolutely nothing, from my own intellectual property, and then I was so fortunate to like come across Beth, come across Amy, Laura, all these other folks, Gabby, that now do work on the team. You know, I felt that I had a lot of conviction before I started convincing other people to outsource their human resources or their people operations and let us handle their culture. I had to convince myself that I could handle all these other businesses, people, and culture, and doing a really good 5-star kind of quality way at a good value for these small and mid-sized businesses up and down the East Coast now. And so it was really important for me as I thought about this transition, moving to founder and finding more of like a CEO type that can come in here and really kind of like get the arms around like operationally what is going on here. Mm-hmm. I'm a great consultant. I'm a great people leader. But as far as like a business owner, there's definitely some opportunities to kind of streamline what we've got going on. And so when Andy raised his hand and said, well, this is something that I could do, I could not think of anyone else with a greater conviction for Leath HR Group and a love for what the ladies are doing at Leath HR Group. There's nobody who's shown beyond myself greater conviction for this business than Andy. And so just to do like a little mini intro on him, he's leaving the healthcare industry, was running a really big couple, like, I don't know, 90 businesses, you can tell him. But like he's coming out as a fellow, a healthcare fellow, an executive fellow. And that's not the first time he was a fellow. He was a fellow actually back in the day at the EPA. So he's now a fellow 2 times. I don't know what you call that, a fellow or something.
Double fellow.
Double fellow. Beth is going to give you a run for your money. She was on Jeopardy. I love telling people that. It makes me super happy. But he is also a 40 under 40 in 2020, and he was a Healthcare Hero nominee in 2021. So he's got a lot going on. He's a great husband, dad. He's a really good wine drinking buddy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to love this. Every other week. That's very necessary.
That
you
was
take
my
the
interview.
ladies. Yes.
Yeah.
Will you take the ladies for wine? Okay, great.
Yes, perfect.
So just with all that being said, you know, I think this is great for the clients that we do business with. I think it's great for the team. I'm still around. I'm not going anywhere. We still live together. We're doing this thing. But just want to turn it over to you and get you to introduce yourself and just talk about what you're going to do with this newfound role in your profession and your life.
Great. Well, thanks for having me, everyone. Andy Almeter. I've already been introduced.
Conviction is absolutely a good way to describe this. It's I believe in everything that Leath HR Group is, and that's kind of the cool part is having this opportunity to take it to the next level. Bring a level of strategy, to the plan. I think what you all do on a day-to-day basis. I'm not an HR person, right? So I'm not going to be embedded in trying to figure out how to do, the HR role, that sort of thing. I'm strictly here for the business. I'm here for the business. I'm here to take care of the consultants that do an amazing job, and really just grow this, grow something amazing that you've started, that all of you have kind of had a hand in growing the past 5 years. So, yeah, I'm just excited about that opportunity. I really am.
Great.
So I have a little bit about background. Yeah, so I was at the EPA for about 5 years doing research. So I'm kind of a data person. Made a transition to healthcare and had been there for about 6 years, a little over 6 years, in a business and operations role. That all those, there's the little beacons along the way, right? That kind of point you to like, where's your niche? What is it that you really like to do? And while I like big business and big government and data, really deep down, what makes me tick is going to be a smaller team and a team that's close to the heart. Just Leath HR Group. I mean, just when the stars aligned, this was a perfect opportunity. Thought I'd jump.
Yeah.
It's
I think
great.
it's really exciting. Yeah,
is
Beth
exciting.
and I are excited to have, both of you on board in different capacities. But I think, Lisa, I get it. You were also, not only were you running the business and you were the CEO and you were getting new clients and out there in the community and doing all these things and, doing the accounting, do the administrative stuff. You also were the full-time consultant, one of two full-timers, on the team. And so just thinking about how now Andy will be doing all of those other things, but without having to day-to-day be the full-time consultants, like how much more can we grow and expand and do different things? And I think that's really exciting, at least for me.
I think so too. I'm excited that you're going to be here. But it's not that you're new. I mean, you've been helping since I've been here, and this summer will be 3 years that I've been with you guys.
Woo-hoo! Wow.
It's crazy.
Yay.
So, I mean, you've been there from the very, very beginning, and I think it's going to be, I love your strategizing. You're a really good strategist, and I think that's going to be really helpful as our town grows and grows. It's like every day that I'm driving to my little clients, I'm like driving, I'm like, oh, new business, oh.
Yeah,
and
everywhere.
It's like then you can actually tackle that and just kind of get us in the door, and I think it's really phenomenal. I'm excited.
The amazing part is just like, what is today? Wednesday? We're only halfway through the day, and we've had several new client calls this week. So,
wow, that's great.
Yeah. Our brand is strong, and the great news is, even though we're all getting out there and meeting and supporting our communities where we do business, that will be Andy's full-time role. And he knows a lot of people. So, we always are together, so we know all the same people. So we're going to be out there, and he's going to be representing kind of as the main point of contact for any new clients and inquiries.
That's great,
HR
because
Group.
honestly, Beth and I have been so busy, we don't have time for that right now.
I know. I came flying into the parking lot, literally running up the stairs before this
And
happened.
I'm only part-time.
I know.
And I have no time.
Full-time.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's what needs to happen next, right? This is the logical next step for this business at this stage is to get somebody dedicated to going out and securing not only just new clients, but maybe a whole different genre of clients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I dip into different realms, working in healthcare and working in research, working in academia. It has been a very great career so far, but, I can't wait because I have seen good HR.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen great HR. I've seen no HR. It's while I'm not an HR practitioner, I can pick up on areas that where the need is. So to draw that out in conversations, I got that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, and you've been a leader of teams and a leader of people, and you have so much people management expertise that's half the battle in being a great HR person is understanding the business. So I think you bring all of that to the table while you may not be the one informing HR law, and you may have to call Beth or I or ask Lisa still for some of that if you run across it. Like, you know enough to be able to go out there and have conversations about why companies need HR solutions and better HR people.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, I draw back to my experience when I owned a company. I owned an engineering firm, and we grew fast, and we grew wrong, and it was detrimental to our business. Like, we just were like, oh, there's so much opportunity, and we just started to grab at everything without really a strategy or a plan. And it really backfired on us, and it was devastating. I mean, financially devastating. It was just devastating. And so then when we grew again, we really took the time to just figure out who we were, what we were going to go after. And there were some opportunities that we just passed by because that wasn't our route to take. And I think that with you at the home, because, I mean, you've been so busy.
Yeah.
It's just so
chaotic.
Busy. It's too much. And so I think that I love the idea that, like, I just loved the idea of slow, steady, strategic growth, because in that way,
sustainable.
And you're right, like laying the groundwork. I mean, we've done some of that work already as a team and saying, like, where's our sweet spot? Because we could do a lot of things, but we've all had, previous careers and previous experiences. And there's a lot of things I'm like, I can do it, but I don't want to because I don't like that part of the job.
Exactly.
Right. So we've really talked about, like, where do we shine best? What do we want to do? What keeps us engaged too? And I think that's all really good to not just take on everyone, but have a strategy behind it.
Decide
and you've already been instrumental in helping us lay out some of that groundwork.
One thing that's interesting to me and exciting is that I have a client now in Pennsylvania. Boom. I've done something in New York. Boom. And also Idaho, for heaven's sakes. Like, Idaho. Yeah. So, like, I think that you need to get us some business in Hawaii.
That's
branch
like
visits, team branch visits to best client in Hawaii.
I'll be like, gosh, okay, I'll take the job. So,
or the Bahamas. I don't know much about international, but I can learn.
Yeah,
we do have a client that you touched that has a presence in the Bahamas, so let's go for it.
Let's do it. So
That sounds amazing.
What are some of the things like? Okay, so brand new to the role.
Mm-hmm.
Where is like one area that you think that we could really grow into?
Growing into. I think different industry, for sure. Healthcare is an industry right now. I mean, I'm coming fresh out of healthcare, right? But so of course I'd say that. But I think healthcare is an area that needs some horsepower in some areas. And I'm not talking about a specific, company or anything like that. I'm talking about in general to be able to flex with the times here. We need to. I'm a data person, right? So I've been on the other side of this with flexing up and flexing down staff. The best way to do that is through a consultancy.
Yeah.
And because then you're not taking on the risk of hiring that full-time person. So anyway, long story short, I think healthcare is an area that could really use some help right now. Manufacturing could really use some horsepower right now, given all the supply shortages that we've experienced during COVID and coming out of COVID now. Everything's changed. The way we do business has changed. The way we look at our people, the way we manage our people. I mean, all of that has changed. So I think those two areas are an area that I think I'd like to focus in.
I think those are good areas too, because when you think just not us just going in and being the HR solution, but I think it's a lot. We could go in and provide support to the current HR teams. I think we saw it. Beth and I recently did this kind of lunch and learn series for a client, and we had quite a few people on that call that were the HR generalist at a nursing home facility or, the office manager at some health. There was quite a few on that line, and they're just exhausted and they're really burned out, but here they are helping take care of an organization. And so it's like, how can we go in and support the teams that are already there?
And especially, I think sometimes too, it's like they can go through their day-to-day kind of the routine HR stuff, but then they have like some wacky thing that happens that they've never really had experience doing.
Right.
And so then that maybe is our sweet spot where we can be like, hey, we've all had something
Right.
that we can kind of relate to, you know?
Yeah, there's not much that we haven't encountered over the years.
That's why we have the podcast.
That's why the podcast is
HR
called
Nightmares.
HR
Go
Nightmares.
check us out on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
No.
But I love those ideas. I think that that's really great. And I think we should also look beyond, you know, our little general area. We can expand
Absolutely.
into Raleigh, into
Yeah.
Charleston, and
Well,
you know, East Coast, right?
and
Idaho.
and Hawaii.
Yeah.
I think that the foundation, the groundwork has been laid, right? To be a very successful. We have a very successful model here.
It
you
is
know,
a good model.
And I think that to take it to the next level is going to require a little strategy, a little forward thinking, a little outside the box, which is not a problem, especially with this group. I think we can
true.
do that quite well.
We can do it.
Bring on the Bahamas.
Yeah, and I think another area that you think about. Let me think about like HR in general. That this group has changed that mantra, right? We've changed. This team has changed kind of how folks look at HR. HR is not just a function. To be good HR is to be kind of like responsive and kind of in the mix, knowing your folks, staying a step or two ahead. But great HR is what Leath HR Group has been doing. I've been hearing about all of the great work you guys have done. I watched the podcast, of course, and of course, being married to Lisa for 10 years almost, I've heard all these stories, but great HR is being part of the business.
Mm-hmm.
And Leath HR Group does that so well. They come in, they learn the business, learn what makes it tick, learns the history of the business, and becomes that HR business partner. Okay, we throw that term around a lot. There's HR business partner is a title in a lot of larger companies, but if they don't understand the business, then how are you really going to help? So I think that is something that we need to continue to focus on. That is kind of the heart of the company. It's just embedding that HR into the works and really showing companies, showing other executives, how an excellent HR leader can help their business bloom.
Yeah, there is a little bit of education still, I think, on how to best utilize HR, right? Like I can come in all day long and like do all these little tasks and things that I've been doing for a decade, but that's not you utilizing me to the best of my abilities, right? Like I'm here to create strategy, to get the vision, to get the comms plans together, to do hierarchy and org structure and like all of these really big things. So it's still like a little bit of that, how we educate business leaders. When HR is in the room and has a seat at the table, the organization gets better. It's just a fact.
True that.
Well, also I like our model too, because when we can look, it's kind of the forest for the trees. So we go in, they've been doing it the same way. It's like, hey, have you guys ever decided or thought of this? And sometimes it's just a fresh set of eyes looking at maybe how they're structured, or maybe, these are benefits that you don't even offer. And maybe if you did, you wouldn't have such a, people flying out the door.
A little external disruption.
Yeah.
That never hurts, right?
Right.
I mean, that's how you grow.
Right.
I just told someone the other day, I said, pine cones need fire. Like, I mean, that's, and when you,
Andy, this is going to be such a
I don't know
great
what that
relationship.
means. That's the only way they open up and spread their seeds is when there's fire. They have to get,
I knew that.
He's educating us.
a little good disruption.
Here comes the nerd.
It's gonna go a long way.
Okay, my next question, because I think that this is really important, is that I think our success is the commitment that we have had to our clients. I mean, I think we don't just punch the clock with them. We will provide them services. So how do you think, maybe for some of our clients that are listening, they might be worried, like, oh gosh, you're going to grow, and how will that impact me? So how do you think that we can maintain what we already have?
No, I think we've already kind of touched on that. I think it's, the Leath HR Group has grown leaps and bounds. Hopefully, our clients haven't felt it, right? And that's what I want to continue. Not just our clients, the consultants. I want this to be no disruption. I want this to be behind the scenes. This is just, we're going to provide a little strategy, keep doing the great and wonderful work that we're doing. There may be a little more I would like to personally, reach out once a month and have a sit down or a phone or a Zoom or whatever it may be, with our clients, just to touch base, just so they've got another face with the Leath HR Group. They've got the consultant, then they've also got, a leadership interface there, an open door policy, right? Just kind of work on that relationship, and that's not to, it's really just to keep the door open. And see what else we could offer that maybe we're not even thinking about that we could offer, but we got the expertise to do it, right? So it'll be a two-way conversation about, what else can we provide? And
Exactly.
I think that's one there.
I think it's great. I think that's always the fear is like, well, gosh, we've been working with y'all for so long, and what does this mean? It means nothing. Like we're all
right.
gonna do what
No
we've always done. Yeah.
I like
Kumbaya.
disruption. I like disruption for other reasons, but hopefully this change is not going to be like that.
I think no one will really even know. It's just probably
Maybe we'll send them their invoices more timely.
Maybe.
Lisa's like, wait, what?
Scripts of work. We'll go the other end of that spectrum.
It's great. I think it's really great.
Yeah.
I would love to see us like wrap our vehicles with like Leath HR. I'm literally wait.
Amy's like, you're not
I'm
even
kidding
my
that.
car.
I'm totally kidding that. No, I'm totally kidding.
Make you get Leath HR Group fingernails and stuff like that.
I guess
We'll see.
That's not really on brand.
Discussion.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, promotion of the brand. I mean, you guys have built an amazing brand here. Kudos for that. The podcast is taking off. HR Nightmares. It's
really is.
Amazing.
Go check
Right?
it
It's
out.
a thing. Like it's a real thing. People are listening to it.
Gabby's killing
A
it
lot.
too.
Yeah.
Like getting
Really
it out there.
great.
Those questions that we get are intense. Yeah, there's a lot of things out
that
there.
people are actually taking the time to write. I love it.
We're getting a lot of write-ins. Like we have to be choosy about
and pretty
how many we're going
complex
through.
issues.
Yeah.
So it's just really clear to us more than ever, like what a need there is.
This was a need. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Folks want to hear real talk. I mean, that's where we are these days, right? Let's be honest. It's if you can't have real talk, you're not really talking about the issues, right? So that's the beauty of HR Nightmares. You get to really lay it all out.
Yeah, that's one thing I can't stand is when people use those terms. Like, those terms, those business terms, like circle around the block or whatever those dumb terms are. It's like, just be real and just tell me what you're talking about,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Those little colloquial
Give me
terms.
some feedback. Yeah.
Now, you did
Feedback.
actually give me a desk calendar that was how to look smart in meetings, and it has all of those colloquialisms on them.
Ask if this is a run or a sprint.
Yeah. People will get nervous.
At the end of the day, is this a run or a sprint?
I can't stand that stuff.
Draw a graph over time.
The true value add.
So
We're excited, Andy. I think
Yes.
it's going to
Yeah.
be great. And Lisa,
Congratulations
like,
to
excited.
everybody.
Kudos to you to be building this. I mean, you
Yes.
did
Thank
start
you.
this
Thanks
out by
for
yourself.
Thanks for everything that the whole team does. I appreciate you. I wouldn't be doing HR Nightmares with anybody else. So
Well, we appreciate you a lot.
Yeah.
no, and thank you
We're
all
excited.
for this opportunity. This is an opportunity. It's a great opportunity.
it is. It's
You
a
built
great
wonderful-
opportunity for all
you
of
built
us.
a wonderful thing here, and I think it's just going to grow from here. It's gonna
I'm
be awesome.
excited.
Good. Let's keep the brand alive.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Now you've got to do your ending that you do so well.
Yeah.
Take us home.
Connect with us on LinkedIn. Follow us along at Leath HR on LinkedIn and Instagram. You can find HR Nightmares anywhere where you get your podcasts. Make sure to hit follow on Apple and Spotify so you can get notified as new episodes air. And come on over to YouTube. If you don't want to listen to us, come over and watch us. Click that bell so that you also get notified over there on YouTube. And please comment, rate, review, do all the things to support and continue writing in with
love
all
those
those important
write-ins.
questions.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Andy.
Thanks.